So here it is, the Pixel Watch 4. It feels and looks largely the same, but there's probably more to it than meets the eye. But let's get into it in this video, our full review of the Pixel Watch 4. If you are entrenched in the Google ecosystem and love hearing about deep dives and opinions on the entire Made by Google lineup, then stick around by hitting subscribe and joining the crew. It really helps me out more than you know. Cheers. From afar, I have to say the Pixel Watch 4 looks exactly like prior generations. That's the truth, and honestly, I don't think that's a bad thing. It's sleek, it's comfortable, and it genuinely looks as good as it ever has done. Durability is still a concern given the design choices, but it simply melts onto your wrist once you've actually strapped this on there. You don't notice that there are any seismic shifts until you actually use the Pixel Watch 4 though, and I do think that is entirely down to the display and some of the display tech on offer here. Google calls it the Actua 360 display, and yes, it pushes the bezels a little bit closer to the edges, which is always nice, but the big, almost indescribable change is that the entire display is now domed rather than being just a flat panel under the curved glass. It's completely convex in shape, and the effect is really impressive in person. I don't think anyone here at 95 Google actually expected to like a convex display that literally comes out towards you, but we have been enamored by this. It's absolutely gorgeous. Whether you opt for the 41mm model or the larger 45mm size, which we're going to focus on here mostly in this video, this display has a subtle punch forward. It adds a 3D effect that's basically impossible to capture in pictures, but hopefully you can see it here a little bit on video. I'll try my best to try and make that a little bit obvious. You absolutely have to see this in person to truly get what it does to the display on this wearable. Beyond the unique shape of this, the display itself is actually excellent as well, which is always a nice bonus. It's as sharp as it ever has been and noticeably brighter than past generations, though only marginally so over the Pixel Watch 3 in most real-world outdoor scenarios, but we won't have to squint as much to see this in that kind of situation. We're focusing, as I say, on the 45mm option here, because if you're still clinging to that 41mm size, I do think you're drastically missing out. However, the sheer volume of space you get on this bigger display for notifications, previews, and applications outweighs any marginal comfort preference you may have for that smaller 41mm size. It's simply the most optimal choice. Your personal preference is your own, but if you are coming from an older, smaller watch, don't be afraid to take a look at the 45mm and make that jump. I do think you won't regret it for the first time, at least this time around. I mean, the big selling point of any Pixel device is a software, and Google's Wear OS 6 update is simply put a genuine delight to use. The core mechanics haven't really changed that much, I think, which is fine. The system of tiles, the quick settings menu and notifications on all four sides of the watch is a pretty solid foundation. Where the software shines though is in design and the presentation of it. Just like in Android itself, Google has delivered Material 3 expressive revamps on top of Wear OS, and it makes the watch feel really modern and fun to use. You notice it right away in animations for things like the pin unlock if you have that enabled, the new look of the quick settings, and even more with incoming notifications that have a brand new, visually arresting design. The new design language is fantastic in applications like the Google Weather application, but I do think the biggest impact is in the color theming. Wear OS 6 will automatically change the color theme of the entire experience to match your current watch face colors. It's a subtle but powerful little visual cue that I think really makes your watch feel more deeply personalized than ever before. Google's also adding AI-powered smart replies, but I have to say I haven't really noticed a huge change there from the prior context-based replies. The new notification cooldown feature, which is also coming to Android 16, isn't always that noticeable as well, but one that really isn't meant to be, I think. Raise to Talk is one of those Gemini-powered features which might actually be one of the key selling points this year, and I hadn't anticipated it to be. When this is enabled, it does actually require an extra step to be connected to your phone because, well, of course it does. It's that kind of thing that you expect to bridge to your device, but it allows you to simply raise your wrist to instantly start chatting with Gemini. And that sounds really not that impressive to begin with, but having a dedicated automatic gesture to launch Gemini could be that game changer we hadn't anticipated. It's genuinely seamless, with the assistant ready to accept questions or commands instantly. And this feature probably won't come to past Pixel Watch models. The Pixel Watch 4 is using a new Snapdragon chip, which on the whole doesn't really offer any big noticeable performance boosts, but Google is using a brand new co-processor, its own actually, for this specific function. And that new chip does also enable satellite connectivity. It's one of the first wearables to offer that, which is a massive welcome safety addition as well. As far as this feature goes, It's really nice if you're the kind of person who is getting busy with something and you don't want to actually pick out your phone out of your pocket. Just raise your watch to your face, more or less. Start chatting with Gemini, get answers. The new speaker is also a little bit better, still not all that great, but it is really nice to have this option if you do want to use it and you are someone who is using Gemini to control home devices, all that kind of thing. Yeah, nice touch. It's something I didn't anticipate to be so enamored by. It's really something that I don't think I could go back to using the Pixel Watch 3 as a result of not having it. And as far as Fitbit's concerned, we all know that Fitbit is integrated more heavily here. There's nothing really new to report on today. In terms of features, you get the same simplified health tracking experience. You also get the in-depth running notifications and features that were introduced with the Pixel Watch 3. It all works pretty well, though you still need a Fitbit premium subscription to get the absolute most out of this experience, which I do think is a separate discussion entirely and is a little bit disappointing, especially when you spend over £300, $300 on a wristwatch. But here's the thing, I do think the best is truly yet to come with the Fitbit application, and Fitbit's AI-centric revamp is right around the corner, with early access starting hopefully this month in a lot of regions. The idea of fusing AI with fitness, I think, is a really incredibly apt way to do this. Maybe this could elevate the experience, but no, this is not a fitness wearable per se. So yeah, I'm going to hold my breath on that, but I am excited to see just what this brings to the table in the coming weeks and months. As for battery life, well, on the 45mm model, which most of us have been using here on the team, the Pixel Watch 4 has been so far pretty darn fantastic. The improved endurance is not only part of the story though, as it is a larger battery, it just means you're going to get a little bit longer. I've been getting 2 to 3 days. 3 days are very, very push when I start using battery saver mode, but 2 days, no problems, really, really good. As I say, it's part of this story here as the new charging system is very, very good. It's super fast, and I think that makes all the difference to a wearable such as this. But yes, for the third time in 4 generations, yeah, I've said that out loud, Google has once again introduced a new Pixel Watch charger. It's really frustrating. It's just something we're going to have to deal with though if you do want to wear one of these wearables. This time around though, the charging pins are located on the side of the watch, which has a magnetic dock which provides the extra power and charges up your device. It's seriously fast though. 15 minutes gets you around 50%, under an hour to get 100% in hour testing. To me, that's perfect for a wearable such as this. I'm not huge on the look of the charging pins though on the side of the Pixel Watch 4. They definitely break up the otherwise clean aesthetic, but I can live with the trade-off given the sheer charging speed. Google though, at this point, please stop changing the charger on your Pixel Watch lineup because we've already had to fight for every single accessory these kind of devices get, especially with the Google logo slapped on there. If you have a good charger, stick with it. You've got one now, call it a day and focus elsewhere, as I do think you've kind of mastered it with this final one. And hopefully we'll get some software options with this new charger in the coming months as well, as it feels like an untapped resource, at least at this point in time. So to summarize, I think the Pixel Watch 4 is really in many ways a familiar wearable. It's the same core design, the same core philosophy, the same fundamental user experience, which is excellent, but the tweaks Google has made feel really impactful to make this a truly enjoyable upgrade over its predecessor. Is it worth moving up from the Pixel Watch 3? Well, absolutely not, but that watch is still pretty much an excellent option in and of itself. But anyone with an older Pixel Watch or another device from another brand out there that's showing its age should absolutely consider this upgrade between the display's visual and size improvements, the charging speed and upgrade, and that basically eliminates battery worries as well, and the new Raise to Talk to Gemini feature. I think it's a huge leap over the Pixel Watch 2 specifically, and even more so over the first generation, which had a lot of pitfalls of its own. It's the first time the Pixel Watch has felt like a must-have rather than one of those just nice-to-have options. It's the ultimate culmination of a Made by Google software experience and best-in-class hardware refinement we've seen over the past few years. It's a bigger upgrade than the rest of the Made by Google launch lineup in our opinion, and although we've had a while to wait, I do genuinely think this is one of those products that has been well worth it. I want to ask you though, are you getting one, or are you waiting for an inevitable price drop that tends to happen with lots of Pixel devices out there? Let us know down in the comment sections below. But until next time, hopefully this has helped you out, hopefully this has given you information on the Pixel Watch 4. Thanks for watching though, and I'll speak to you later.